So thanks for taking the time and having this conversation with me. I'm very excited about our talk about Planetdance, and I know it's not easy to find a time suitable for everybody, and also it's not easy to be on camera and to talk about all the things related to astrology. So yeah, welcome to my little corner here on YouTube. You. Actually, first of all, where are you located? That's interesting to know.
I am in Groningen, Netherlands.
Groningen, Netherlands, yeah. And Ed?
And I'm in Southwest England.
Southwest England, yeah. And I'm from Helsinki, Finland. So we have 3 countries coming together here and talking about Planetdance. And well, internationality is also one topic related very much to Planetdance. People use Planetdance all over the world.
So people contribute from all over the world.
Absolutely, yeah. Using and contributing to topics related to Planetdance. So, well, let's start. What is Planetdance for people who do not know? Is it a new dance, a new kind of movement or what?
It's the best astrology program in the world.
Yeah, I agree. So
it beats all the rest.
It's an astrology program, and in our email thread we had before our conversation, Ed pointed out that actually there's a lot to talk about astrology programs, astrology software in general. So for people who are born later than you guys, for us it's just a given that there are programs out for free use, and there are online programs, and it's the difficulty is only to choose which program you use, but there's no question of if there is any program or not. So sometimes we do not understand how difficult it was back in the time when you didn't have the program. So maybe you want to elaborate the beginnings of Astro software.
Do you want to start by talking about the early days of Planetdance, Jean?
How did it start and when?
How did it start? Well, it started around 1990. That's about that. And well, my ideas, because it became very popular, and that's because mainly because it has this programming language, AstroBasic. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to make a programming language for astrology, because there were 3 main reasons. First, when you make software, most work is going to go into the user interface. Mm-hmm. If you want to change something, even a little bit, you have to change the user interface, and that's the most of the work. So I thought about it would be nice to have something where you can put modules into the program and don't have to change the user interface, but just add a module. That is one of the reasons that it became so comprehensive, because every idea I had, it was just a matter of making a little module, and it was ready. And that's why Ed could contribute so much. Mm-hmm.
And that was the amazing thing about Planetdance and AstroBasic, that it was possible to begin to learn how to provide extra modules, coded using the AstroBasic script, and it's an amazing tool for astrologers. And I've been thinking about astrological ideas that I would like to incorporate into software. But the only way I could see at the time was, well, I'm going to have to learn a programming language. Mm. But I got in touch with Jean when he was developing the mobile phone version of Planetdance, and Jean would send me beta releases, and I use them and give some feedback, and we met that way. And I was still thinking, well, I'm going to have to learn to code, a programming language to be able to write my own astrology program. And I thought, I don't have enough time. But as I got to know Jean, and he said, why don't you have a go at AstroBasic? So I thought, well, I've done a little bit of basic programming because I had started to write bits and pieces. And I thought, well, what's nothing to lose. There's nothing to lose. So I started looking at the AstroBasic code which you can look at in the main program, and beginning to experiment with it. And very quickly, we found ourselves writing a Hellenistic astrology module.
Yeah, I know it very well.
Within a few weeks, really, of me starting.
Wow.
And I don't know what I was thinking, but I thought, well, I can take that code that's John's written and start adding to it. And then I began to see the possibilities. Oh, God, we could have a dynamic wheel where you can change the bounds. And I thought, well, I'll do that. And at the time, I had a lot of time for various reasons. And Jean helped. And we started really with Ed Greek Horoscope. And, things developed from there. But it was very much, looking back, I think, well, that was just crazy, to go in at
he
that
started
end.
off, and he kept on producing, the guy.
Yeah. So, that's how.
Do you remember all that you have made till now?
No,
I don't either. We don't.
No, I go into Planetdance and I open up the horoscope menu and look down, and I don't remember that one. And I look at it and I thought, I made that. That's crazy. But I don't know how many lines of code it is that I've written, but it's a lot.
So basically, Jean wrote the basic language, and other people can learn it and contribute, use it, and develop different modules. So Planetdance is, it's amazing. I found Planetdance in 2018. And I was studying astrology, Hellenistic astrology at that point. And I was so amazed by all the possibilities that the program had, and it kept developing all the time and evolving with its users. So people would ask Jean, hey, could we have this? And could we have that? And I was amazed how quick the development went forward, So sometimes Jean would reply within an hour. And the features got added. So it was very amazing to have this kind of experience, that you have actually a community within that program. It's not only, you buy a program and then you are alone with the program, and then you have to wait 2 or 3 years for an update and hope that eventually maybe something new is included, what you could use. But with Planetdance, it's amazing that new features are added constantly. So it started in 1990, you said, John. I know you said sometimes it's 1984, yes. The early beginnings when you got interested in coding and writing.
My first astrology software was around the time before internet, when you had the singular spectrum, the spectrum from Spectrum, it was before the PC. Another reason why I made the language is because my knowledge of astrology and astronomy and the math involved is mediocre. So I thought I don't know that very much. If I can make a language, maybe others can jump in. And that's where someone as Ed that made the big show, because he has all the books and the casket and on about the math, and so yeah.
Yeah, and Ed, you are one of the major contributors to Planetdance. Yes. There are a lot of people. Jean, do you know how many people have contributed?
Also 4, 5, 6 other people.
Okay.
Around that.
So people who have written scripts for Planetdance.
Yes, yes.
And on top of that are the people who are suggesting new features all the time in Planetdance Facebook group and the forum. And these are probably many people.
I love that aspect. The feedback, it's great. Almost every day someone is thanking me for something. And that's just great. It's nothing money can buy, you know?
That's true, yeah. Yeah, and I have learned over the years that if people don't know, Planetdance is a free astrology program, so you can download it for free, so it doesn't cost anything. And what I have learned over the years is that it is your baby. You said this a lot of times, and you really want people to enjoy the program and to share it and to get involved in developing it. So it is a shared project, actually. So even if you can't do scripts, I don't know how to code, so I like don't know to do it, but I have some suggestions once in a while. And when I was studying Hellenistic astrology, it was nice to see that Ed did a major update to the Ed Greek Horoscope module.
It's very popular.
It is very popular, I know, and I used it also for studying because it helps you to actually, through the tables you have in the program, and we will go into the program shortly. So you actually can use it as a learning tool. So it's not only for professionals or for people who just use it as a hobby. You can use it in your studies, and I love that very much.
Well, Ed wrote extensive documentation on all his scripts. It's like a book, and it's someone here in the Netherlands has translated all that. He did also very much work on that. So it's extensive in documentation too.
Yes, it is.
I think that's a really important point, Sindy, because one of the reasons that a number of reasons why I wanted to learn AstroBasic, but one of them was to have techniques available that I didn't think would be ever coded in mainstream commercial software. But also that point about it being available as a tool to help people learn astrology and to become better astrologers was a major driving force. And it's really nice to hear that it had that function for you, because actually that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to put the time in to make these modules. And I think, and also in doing that, I have also learned a lot about maths and trigonometry, but also about astrology. And it's been really interesting from that point of view. Can I just come in, because one of the things that also interests me about astrological software is the history. And I think what attracted me also to what Jean was doing with Planetdance and AstroBasic was returning the ability to shape astrological software back to astrologers. And that's a really important value for me. And what is interesting to me is that the roots of astrological software in the mid-1970s were very much about astrologers freeing themselves to have to be dependent on others to produce, well, at the time, the ephemerides and so on, to calculate charts and to make astrological calculations very accessible. So to give astrology back to astrologers. And this book here, which is a very interesting written by Michael Irwin.
Looks exciting.
Manual of computer programming for astrologers. This is pages and pages of basic.
Oh my!
Code. Yeah, I know it.
Yeah.
I think of you.
It's a very rare book, but it's the roots really of astrological software. And Michael Irwin writes a bit about how all this started with programmable calculators. Can you believe it? calculators, and then a PC or an early home computer became available, and astrologers who were also hobbyist programmers and computer buffs, geeks as we call them now, began writing code to calculate horoscopes. And, you know, Jean was, I think, part of that right in the early days.
I used code from Michael Hollowine in the early days. I think.
Yeah, I've used code from here. The astrocartography model is straight out of this.
Okay.
So, and I think what is really interesting about this book and the code, at the time it was all about providing the tools for astrologers to do this for themselves. So very much kind of DIY astrological programming, and that's what AstroBasic is. You know, the spirit of this book is in AstroBasic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's very incredible, and I don't think it's fully appreciated by the astrological community that Jean has realized this.
There are lots of reasons for that. It's freeware, and freeware is regarded always regarded as a bit of negative. You call it annotation. Freeware doesn't have no status. For many people, they want some status in software, and that's why they buy expensive software. And they look down on other things. That's a bit of mechanism.
Yeah, one reason might be that Planetdance is very versatile. You have a lot of modules, and some people might find it difficult to learn it. They think they have to know everything of about the program, and then they are confused. But you don't.
Solar Fire is not easy either. It's also
you have to study the program, of course. But as Ed said, sometimes people do not appreciate what the program actually is, because people do not know it. And even if it's free, you know, some people they don't understand how you can change the layout of Planetdance. They don't like the beginning probably, and they don't know how to change it. So they need actually a bit of guidance. How can you change the colors, for example, and what can you do with the program? Because it's very adjustable. You can do a lot of things. And I was very amazed. I have spent hours with the program trying different colors and fonts and you know, how big I want to have the wheel actually, and do I want to have it in the middle or on the side or whatever, you know. And I was very happy that people contributed to my article I wrote almost 2 years ago. So in the article I have some screenshots of people's main wheel in Planetdance, and all looks different. Yeah. So it's very nice to see how people adjust Planetdance to their needs. And what is also nice is that we have a versatility of modules from Indian astrology, from traditional Western astrology, from modern astrology. We have harmonics and the Venus star point module, which is a new one. And I'm very excited about that one, because that's the last astrology tool I got into and studied. And I was so amazed to see it. I saw it before, but I didn't know what it was. And when I studied the system with Ariel, I was excited because I knew what it was now, and I could make use of it. And it's so nice to see that you can have the whole 5-pointed Venus star in the chart. You know, you don't have to draw it yourself. You don't have to think about how do you explain to someone how the star looks and where the points are. You just have the birth chart and the star right within the birth chart. It's so nice to see.
Nice to hear.
It is, yeah, I love it. I love the Ed Greek Horoscope module. I use it all the time, and the Venus star module. These are the two main things I'm using, and the calendar function feature. So these three are my basic programs I use almost daily. So yeah.
Great.
But
I think it's a program that can grow with people. So, you know, somebody can come to Planetdance just beginning with astrology, and they can calculate the basic chart, they can do progressions, they can do solar arc or whatever it is, transits, you know, and that's absolutely fine. But as people learn more, become interested in more, like the Venus star point, they can find it in the program, and okay, I can learn about this now. And I think that's what's so fabulous about it. It's something that can just grow with people, and as people's understanding develops.
Yeah, and people grow with the program too. So if you are curious, you just click and look what the program has, and then you are just wondering, oh, what is this?
What's
and then
this?
You Google and so it helps to expand your knowledge about astrology, and it also gives you appreciation for what other people do with astrology. It's not your own field, your own little corner. You have your own branch of astrology and the way you do it, but you see also how other people use astrology and what kind of techniques they use, and it's vast. Astrology is vast.
And it can be a bit overwhelming for people.
Sometimes, maybe. But hey, let's go into the program. I want to show people how it actually looks. So
sure.
I will share my screen here. So can you see this?
Yeah.
Great.
Wow.
Yeah, this is how it looks on my screen now. So first thing I want to show people is the Venus Star Point module. And Jean, you agreed to share your chart. Do you still agree?
Oh, yes, I'm fine.
Okay. So yeah, this is your chart. This is the main wheel. And the Venus Star Point module can be found under Horoscope, Extra, and Venus Star Point. Here it is. And that's what I was talking about. You can see the whole star, not only the Venus Star Point, not only the head of the Venus star, you can also see the hands and the feet. So this is beautiful. So what was new in the update a few days ago is that now we have transits here in the corner. So we can also see and look at the transits of
your computer isn't the newest one, Sindy.
It's slow. What?
Yeah, your computer is not the newest one.
It is new, but yeah, I have a bunch of things running. Yeah, so these are the transits, and what's also nice is that you actually have the Sabian symbols for each point of the star. So,
yes, that's me. Yeah.
And I have been looking at these, and well, they are quite revealing.
Oh.
So this is one speciality, and what I also like is that you can actually calculate a chart for the transits. So if I just wanted to know the transit, let's say for this date here, for 31st of May 2025, I could just calculate a chart, and it does it. So this is wonderful. And also one system or one point in area system is that sometimes if someone is born quite near to a new Venus star point period, so let's say 5 days before, you could also calculate the Venus star point after birth. So this would be this one, the tick here, and then it calculates. So it would put the head of the star to the next point. So this is some speciality in Aries system, and Planetdance has incorporated this. This is so nice. And yeah, well, Jean, what I saw when I was looking at your chart, if I may say a few words about your Venus star point, you have your Venus star point in Cancer in the 10th house. So, and that reminded me so much of how you always say that Planetdance is your baby, and you are like, in a way, you are like a mother. You know, people come to you and say like, well, could we have this and that, and could you please? So it's so interesting to see that you have
makes sense. Yes,
that kind of taking care of whatever you do, and then of course the program is still a bit unknown, I think, in a way, and a lot what happens is in the background. So the ruler of your Venus star point, the moon, is in the 12th house with Jupiter, you know, on your receiving arm. So you actually receive from Jupiter and the moon ideas and well, ideas that you take into account when you are creative, you know, but these are not seen by the people, you know. This is the axis of service, and what you do is actually quite a lot of charity with your program, you know. You do not get money out of it. It's just you give it free to the people, you share it.
Yes, there are some reasons for that.
Yeah. And well, you can see that this is this is part of your creative energy,
Huh?
giving and taking care of other people in that way. And what's interesting is that the Venus star point in Cancer changed to Gemini, to your 9th house in 64. So astrology.
If I may interrupt, my Placidus, my moon is in 11th. So that's I interpreted that as the internet, the 11th house, and my work on the software and on the internet. And this is 12. Yes, this is different. This whole sign.
That's the beginning. If you look in time, the points change, and the Virgo Venus star point changed to Leo in 87. So this point is now in your 11th house, and the head of your star is now in the 9th house. So community, people, and if you relate the internet to the 11th house, then this would also be, of course, the symbolism for that point. But then astrology, very much related, of course, to the 9th house. So yeah, it's nice to see that in your chart, how it actually works out. Yeah. Well, this is how the Venus star point module looks. And actually, I should do an article and ask people how they use the Venus star point module and how it looks. Yeah. Okay. Well, the next module, I guess we will look at Ed Greek's horoscope.
Can you see if we're gonna get rich from?
Well, the Venus star point module is more about creative energy. What do you have to share and to give to the world? But what's exciting is that we just entered a Libra Venus star point period, which is actually in your case, it's the receiving foot of your Venus star. So this point changed to your 1st house, to Libra, right now. So it's a major change. Let's see what this will mean for your life.
The planet is always growing, and lately it has also grown. I feel I am more in contact with people about Planetdance lately.
Yeah, and I could see that people, well, as you said, Planetdance has grown, and also maybe the whole community will grow, because the Libra Venus star point is very much about community, about sharing, and
more people are getting to know it.
Yeah.
More people are getting, and that's what I see at the moment.
Yeah. And that's also why I got excited.
Friend requests from astrology teachers on Facebook, for instance. While 2 years ago they wouldn't know me, but now I'm getting friend requests from them.
Yeah.
I think it's growing and still growing.
Yeah, you have been hidden. You have been so much in the shadows. You are active on Facebook, but you're not very much out. People don't know a lot about you.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So but let's see what will happen with the Libra Venus star point. It's a big change in our time right now, and it's much about communication, about the mind, and about sharing. So I'm very excited about that. So let's actually look at the Libra Venus star point at the inception chart. I have already opened it here. So this would be the inception chart. But we are not looking at the Venus star here. We are looking at the Ed Greek horoscope. Let's look how it looks. So horoscope classics and Ed Greek horoscope. So here it is, one of my favorite modules. Well, Ed, do you want to say something? What was the most difficult thing to program?
It's huge.
That's a really difficult question to answer, because I have to be absolutely truthful. At the time, I did not know what I was doing. And Jean had to bail me out sometimes. And I do remember I got to the point at one point when this was in development where I just had to completely scrap the code and start again. I was really just, when I realized, and you could do this on screen, Sindy, if you can just maybe change the bounds and and show people. So
Egyptian bounds, so now we have Egyptian bounds.
Yeah, Egyptian bounds.
So these are these ones, if someone doesn't know. So
yeah, and I kind of just thought, that's amazing. I can get a computer to do that. And I there may be other programs that, you can dynamically change the bounds and see, compare. I don't know, maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But for me, that was a really important thing, to be able to, for people to kind of be able to compare and contrast, and maybe they're reading Valens or Ptolemy probably, and the different systems of bounds. And my Mars is in the bounds of Venus with the Egyptian bounds, and if I go to Ptolemy, it's in Ptolemaic bounds, it's in Mars. And you could begin to see how somebody could really begin to learn and put into action what they were reading, or maybe they're doing Chris Brennan's course or something. And for me, that kind of was really a point at which I thought, this is a tool that is so powerful.
Gives people choices, no?
It gives people choices.
Yes.
Exactly, Jean. And and whilst people might not be able to take the code and add the things they want, they can ask for changes to be made, which we've done. In fact, I'm working on one at the moment for this, which would allow people to choose the predominator. So at the moment, it's sort of calculated, but I've just got to do a bit more testing on that. So, we can add little things to it that just improve the usability and give people more to explore. So, yeah, exactly. It's about choice. It's about learning. It's about having a tool that is in the hands of astrologers, and this is no due respect to people that are programming commercially and making software, but there's an important point that, in a way, you're in the hands of that programmer, and maybe they will code the thing you want, or maybe they won't. And it just seemed to me this gives so much more opportunity. At the time, or some years before, I suppose, I've become very interested in Linux and open source software, and recognized that, for very understandable reasons, programmers of one particular commercial astrological software want to make it quite difficult for you to choose another astrological software. So they build in all sorts of proprietary, the main way they do that is by making proprietary chart data recording tools. So you can't transfer your data from one program to another.
That's a pity. Yeah.
So it's a pity. I mean, it's possible if you know a bit what to do, but exporting it to spreadsheets and then reading it's all a bit of a hassle. So if you buy SolarFire, for example, my guess is you're likely to stick with SolarFire, because swapping to another software is a difficult thing, and you've got hundreds of charts that you are looking at. So so anyway, this was really, I'd done maybe one or two little modules, but Jean had something he called Greek Horoscope.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, wow,
very simplistic,
very simple, but really helpful. And I started working on that, and it just began to grow and grow and grow. As I say, at the time I had a lot of opportunity for various reasons. So and I just became very absorbed in coding this. As I say, Jean helped me out, and there were points where we were both working on it. And it's become what it is, and it is a module that many people enjoy, I think, and hopefully got a lot of benefit out of.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
If I may say, without Ed, Planetdance wouldn't have grown so much. It's because of Ed and his knowledge about all kinds of astrology and classic astrology that Planetdance became so popular as it is now.
Yeah, the Ed Greek horoscope very much adds to the or answers to the needs of people in the community, you know, as traditional astrology has grown, so the interest has grown so vastly. People are interested in traditional astrology, and as Ed said, you are able to compare within the Ed Greek module. So a lot of an astrologer's work is doing empirical studies, you know, what does this say? What would it be? Which bounds could I use? What does it say with this and that? So it's easy to compare. And I had a time when I was comparing Egyptian and Chaldean bounds, and I was so lucky that, or happy that I saw the Chaldean bounds were incorporated into the Ed Greek module, because that's what I'm using. And it's still nice to see how it looks with other bounds. You know, the bounds are always coming up, so people are always asking, what do you use? And it's still nice to have this kind of the possibility to do empirical studies with that kind of technique, you know. So it's easy. You don't have to search for it. It's right there, you know. And also the calculations, I love this too. So you can have the calculations in porphyry or whole sign houses, and you have a lot of tables. As I said, this is a nice tool if you study Hellenistic astrology. So you could just look at, for example, let's see. Oh yeah, fortune houses is one thing that you can look up. So how does it look when you start with fortune, for example?
I'd forgotten that.
yeah, that's a lot of things.
Wow, that's amazing.
So then male treatment by overcoming would be something also that you can see. So you have this right here in the table. So this is where you can make use of the program when studying something. So if you don't understand the technique fully, you could use this and just have a look what the program says, and then find out what it means, you know. So this is very nice.
So when I came into astrology in 1992, the whole traditional approach, the whole traditional revival was beginning. And I think there'd been some early work. Robert Zoller had written the Arabic Path book. That was a very early work. But in the sort of mid-90s, the whole Project Hindsight thing got going with Zoller and Hand and Schmidt, the three Roberts, working on translations of the classical texts, both medieval Latin and the Greek. And part of this work with Ed Greek Horoscope was about honoring that in the best way that I could, and trying to make that knowledge accessible through Planetdance. And I find there, again, it comes back to this do-it-yourself thing. So if you like, the 70s and the 80s were astrologers coding and doing it for themselves in terms of producing software. And although that didn't, well, Jean aside, it didn't lead to people participating in that, you know, and coding for themselves generally. I mean, there were people like Walter Pullen with Astrolog who went down that route. But Project Hindsight was very similar in about it was astrologers, you know, really good astrologers making translations of the texts that had previously been the preserve of academics, scholars who translated, you know, Ptolemy and Valens, but they weren't astrologers. They may not even have had any interest in astrology, but in one sense, in the practical side of it, they might have had an academic interest in, you know, the cultural side of it. But Zoller and Hand and Schmidt kind of seized the opportunity to translate those works for themselves and bring all their insights as practicing astrologers to that work. And you know, again, that's a revolution in astrology that is still reverberating today. Incredible foresight. And yeah, at the time, didn't subscribe to their little handbooks they were producing, but I've been able to collect some of them over the years, and they are a complete treasure trove of material. Absolutely.
Yeah, you did a great job honoring that legacy with making the script for the Ed Greek Horoscope module. So it's very popular. I know that, and it helps people to learn what the older generations have translated. It's community. And this is so nice with the whole program and with whole astrology. It's a community.
Have you seen the help on this? It's huge.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot to read. So yeah, I will show these people. So there's help, Planetdance, and there's a lot.
Here on the menu, Sindy, push on the menu button here, and there's.
You mean that one? Okay.
That helps.
English, Netherlands, and.
No English.
Yeah, you mean.
It is. This all hyperlinks.
Resources, Vetjes Valens. Yeah, it's a lot. So you only by reading the help, you will learn a lot. People have seen how it looks, Planetdance, and well, I have to have a look at my outline if you forgot anything. Well,
it's going okay. Eh?
It's good.
Yeah, we showed modules and we talked a little about the history. Well, as I said in the beginning, it's very hard to understand what life was back in the day when you didn't have a computer and you had to actually draw your chart by hand, everything, and how vastly our knowledge has grown, and how versatile people can do astrology nowadays because we have astrology software. It's so easy. You can learn from all over the world. You can just download the program. You can be in connection with people. You can have contact to people all over the world, change ideas. It's amazing. It's so amazing that we have this.
There is. Sorry.
No, go on, Jean.
There is, however, a lot of astrology software on this world. There are so many different
nowadays.
Yeah.
How was it in the beginning? Can you remember the time when you put Planetdance out? What was it like? Where did people get Planetdance back in the day when you first coded it?
It was popular.
Yeah.
But that I asked for people to send me a card. And one time I had this box full of cards and letters, and I threw it away one day when I was cleaning up. I still feel sorry about that, but it was it was nice. I had such a box with all kinds of cards. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean, astrology. Yeah. Sorry, Jean.
Go on, Ed.
I was going to say, I mean, astrology software back in the day. The first astrology software I got was called AstroCalc. I mean, still around, and it was pretty basic, but it was distributed on floppy disks, which you young people won't remember, Sindy.
Well, I remember.
Do you? Like this?
Yeah.
And I think I've got one. I've got to show you, just so the young people know what we had to put up with. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Planetdance. One time I distributed Planetdance on floppy disks because, and when I changed to the internet.
So
I used these.
Did you?
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah. So that, for you, if you don't know what that is, that's a floppy disk. And in fact, this is one of the original disks that was used to distribute AstroCalc, the astrogeography module. So you bought this in modules, and then the first solar fire I got was on a CD, but it's all downloaded via the internet now.
Yeah. That brings us to where can get people Planetdance nowadays?
Jcremers.com.
So it's jcremers.com. Yeah, it's your website, and you have right on the front page
If you
a download button.
Planetdance Astrology into Google, you will always find it.
Yeah, I will put a link into the description box under the video. Yeah, and it's it's free. Download and go.
Yeah.
Customize it.
Customize it and learn to survive.
Yeah. And also, people could also join the Facebook group. So we have, what do we have? We have a Planetdance Facebook group right under the name Planetdance, very easy to find. And then we have also a forum, and your forum is the forum is also on your webpage. It's forum.jcremers.com,
yes,
I guess.
indeed.
Yeah.
It's also quite very busy nowadays, and I love that. I always wanted to have a forum for my software, and it never happened. But since a few years, it's growing. And I love,
How many people do we have in the forum? Do you know?
Well, there are always contributors. What would you say? Some 10, 20?
Per day, usually between 10 and 20 people pitching up and having a read and asking a question or whatever, making a suggestion.
There are always questions. Yeah.
The other thing is that I don't use Facebook for various reasons. So if people have a question that they want to ask me directly about any of the, some of the classical techniques, the medieval techniques, you drop a message there, start a thread, and I'll pick that up. The other thing about the forum, which is nice, is that I've started posting what I've called extension scripts. So Jean, I think a while ago, was concerned that Planetdance was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And if I kept going, it soon would be this huge monster. So I tend now to make any scripts available via the forum. So I've just recently posted a couple that may interest people. I've coded Philip Sedgwick's heliocentric astrology.
Oh,
that's inspired by Philip Sedgwick's work. I'll just see if I can find that.
He knows so much. He has all the books.
Oh, I can't find that one. But anyway, he wrote a really nice book about heliocentric astrology. And there's Vita's Uranian astrology as well. So if a person's into Uranian astrology, you can get their interactive dial and everything, just like Solar Fire. Don't be frightened, it's all there. In fact, it's better than Solar Fire, if I'm honest, in my humble opinion. And there's a rectification module and so on. So, and if I do anything new, I will put the script there, and if people are interested, they can download it.
That's nice. So there's some bonus in the forum.
Yep.
Okay, and then you also have a YouTube channel. You have a few videos. Who is actually running the channel?
Well, there's not much to run. Just a bit of maintenance.
Yeah. Okay. So you maintain the channel and put new videos out.
When COVID started, I made few videos. Yes.
Yeah. So people can watch the videos and have some guidance into the different modules.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've done a few as well. And I haven't made any videos for a while. But there's one there, like an introduction to AstroBasic, where I describe how to open up a new script and doing a few things like listing planets, and just to give people a sense of, this is possible. You can do this. Here's how to get going. And Planetdance, within Planetdance, Jean's made some really helpful templates which provide the outline of a working script. So, you don't even have to start with a blank file. You can go there and see the template and begin to experiment with AstroBasic. So they're great. I use the templates all the time.
Okay, so people can learn the language and start to speak and communicate.
Lately, we met someone on the forum, a guy from Germany, and he didn't know programming at all. But he started to look at AstroBasic, and he was angry. What's this? I don't want it. I don't understand it. And a few weeks later, he was programming.
Oh,
he made things, that
wow.
Even I used some of his work.
Yeah. No, that was
Beautiful.
amazing working with him, and he would send me. I guess it's the guy that he was interested in. What was his particular thing? Huber techniques, I think, and it's very rare to get Huber, Bruno Lee's Huber techniques in software, and he was able to do a bit of code that helped him with that, and then he went on and did other things, but it's amazing. It's amazing, and it is for a computer programming language, it's very accessible.
Endless possibilities. Jean, you got a nice present at one day during your Planetdance development earlier years. Do you want to show it?
Oh, my sweater.
Yeah, people who have seen your photo on Planetdance, they might wonder. Yeah, isn't it beautiful?
It's great.
I love it.
It's made by Carol from Canada, and it was sent to me on a boat. And then it took 3 weeks on a ship to come. I love it.
It's beautiful. That's what community can do,
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you want to say about Planetdance, or? We have come far, with astrology software and with the community and with learning,
I was lucky to meet Ed. That's why when you asked me for this interview, I said I like to, but I would love to join with Ed, because he made Planetdance real big.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. It was kind of you to suggest that, Jean, and I just want to pay tribute to what you've achieved, because
what we achieved.
Well, what we've achieved, and the others who coded for you and contributed in other ways. But for me, it's been an incredible experience. It's an experience I never thought that I would have, and it's allowed me to do things that I never thought I would be able to do. And I think that's a testament to your vision, Jean, all those years ago, thinking language for astrologers. I mean, that is just,
for me, it's
out
great
there.
to have
it's
such
amazing.
A disciple. For me, it's great to have such a disciple,
That's the Cancer Venus star point family, and Planetdance is a kind of family, and it's growing.
Yeah,
it gives possibilities for people to grow and learn.
Yeah, it's great. And if you go to Jean's website, jcremers.com, there's the statistics, download statistics, and at the bottom of the page you can see all the countries where people are downloading Planetdance. It's a huge array of international users, and a lot of people from South America, which is great. It's really popular, and people use it with Spanish. It's translated into Spanish. So it's so accessible in a way that I don't think any other program is to people who don't necessarily use English. And I think that's a wonderful thing as well. And although I'm not able to speak any other languages apart from astrology, I'm really glad that people can access the software in their own language. That's great. It's one of the really important things for me about Planetdance. So yeah, it's just incredible to see that, and to have seen it grown over the last few years in terms of number of downloads and the areas of the world where people are using Planetdance. I was amazed, Sindy, when you said you had all your astrological friends in in Finland, and they were all using Planetdance and Ed Greek Horoscope. I thought, wow, that's great.
Many use it. I know people who use the Ed Greek. Yeah, you know,
great.
who are interested. And I think also people get more interested in actually not only consuming, but also taking part in the process, thinking more about the techniques you are using and how can you actually incorporate things into an astrology program. Yeah. And it's nice to have this experience, you know, if you have a vision, you see something, you want to incorporate something, but you cannot do it on your own. And you ask the community, you know, and someone helps you. Someone says, yeah, we can do this and that, you know, this the exchange between people and exchange of thought. And then you see the final result. It's nice to have this. Community is really nice to have, you know.
I often get the question, why don't you ask money? Don't understand, but it gives me so much joy to every day to get this feedback and
yeah. But if someone wants to give something, you have a donate button. Finally, that's nice, because in the early beginnings I was like, well, I really feel like I want to give something, you know.
Yeah.
And I know people who feel the same, you know. Just a little contribution and yeah, to show how much we appreciate the whole program and the whole family. And you
that
have
point about being a producer or a consumer is a really important one, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Sindy, because again, that's a really important principle for me. And I know it, you know, not everyone has the time to learn to code and you know, write their own scripts, and you know, it does take a lot of time and a lot of energy, and you know, but it's important that people contribute in some way, whatever way that is. It doesn't matter. Is it asking a question on the forum, making a suggestion, saying thank you to Jean, recognizing what he's done, or helping another astrologer with a question, you know,
writing help text. There are people
writing help text, whatever.
Yeah.
My view is we're moving into an age where that is going to become more and more important, and we move away from an age which was about buying and consuming, and that's what people have done with astrology software. We consume solar fire, we consume Janus, whatever it is, without without having the opportunity to give back, you know, apart from paying for the software, I guess, but not in the same way that people can do with Planetdance. And I guess another inspiration of mine, back in the day, there was something called punk rock in the mid-70s, and although I'm not a musician, Jean is a musician, and plays it. You can see the instruments behind a range of instruments, and I've never been able to do that. But the idea of punk rock was, if you want to make a record, you pick up a guitar and you make a record. You know, that kind of level of engagement, and being a producer and not just somebody who buys records that have been made by other people who've decided what sort of music you should listen to, or you should have the opportunity to listen to. And you know, I think there's a bit of a spirit of punk rock about Planetdance, which is you know, you can do it from yourself. You can be involved. You don't have to just consume. You can be part of making something that is built on this wonderful foundation that Jean's created. So you know, that's another really big inspiration for me.
That's well said. You know, the engagement, and I know Jean had really a vision with the program. It's not just doing something to have a specific result. It's a living thing, you know, that gives the opportunity for community, for people. You know, it's much more than a tool. It's it's connection.
Thank you.
Well, thank you both for joining me today and talking about Planetdance.
Yeah, thank you for the effort, Sindy.
Yeah. Thank you for the
doing this.
invitation. It's been great to meet
Thank you for doing this.
up with you. And Jean and I finally spoke
First
together.
time we saw each other.
Yeah.
We never met, you know.
We should do it again. And it's
Okay with me.
Yeah, I really appreciate your enthusiasm for Planetdance, Sindy. It's great to know, that people are really appreciating what Jean has done, what he's doing, and
what we have done.
What we have done. That's great. That's really makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, I thought it's now time that people know more about Planetdance, and the community, because usually you don't see the people who actually work on the programs you're using, and it's nice to have you both here tonight and talking about Planetdance, and also for people who are younger to understand what it actually meant back in the day, to actually be able to code and to use astrology software, and how long it took, to come to this point where we are now, where we just download a program and we use it. It's amazing.
Amazing times.
You left a great legacy, Jean.
Thank you.
Well, I would just say bye-bye to the audience. Thank you for joining today, and we will, see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.